For many of us, eating is one of life's greatest pleasures. Food isn't just energy, it is a mood booster and an emotional pick-me-up. But if you have diabetes, your food can turn on you. How do our different types of food affect our blood glucose levels? And if you're living with diabetes, does that really mean that you are destined to eat boring and bland food forever? Does that also mean that supermarkets, hawker centers, restaurants are all out of bounds? In this episode, we're investigating your food. Is what you're eating killing you? Every single hawker stall nowadays seems to have some kind of award, which makes me wonder, what is it that Singaporeans really love to eat? Because they are so spoiled for choice. You can have fish and beer.
Oh my gosh, you're Nikki, right? Yes. Nikki from itsybcnikki.com. Oh my gosh, you look so much prettier in person. I love your blog so much.
Well, thank you.
You eat so much and you're still so slim. You know, I read every single post and eat all the food that you recommended. On 21st February, you recommended a Malay store over there, and I'm here today to try it. You want to join me?
No, that's really okay, but obviously you like your food. You're a bit of a foodie. So I'm wondering, can you help me? Because I'm trying to write a blog about the top 5 favorite local foods in Singapore.
Okay, where do I start? I like chicken rice, duck rice, char siu rice, laksa, wonton mee, satay, carrot cake, popiah.
Well, I don't think that Fan's really going to help because she pretty much eats everything. So come on, Singaporeans, tell me, what is your favorite food?
Nasi lemak, mee rebus,
Hokkien mee, char kway teow, and bak chor mee.
Fried oyster omelette for sure, satay, and also Hokkien mee.
Chicken rice, Indian biryani, and nasi lemak.
I love laksa and Hokkien prawn noodles.
Laksa, pisang goreng, and mee rebus.
White rice, white bread, noodles, they're all carbohydrates. And they are an essential part of your diet. I mean, what's a meal without carbs, right? And I know I'm not the only carb-crazy lady out there. In fact, 52% of the average Singaporean's dietary energy comes from carbohydrates.
All carbohydrate foods, including your starchy foods like your rice, bread, noodles, they're going to be digested and converted to the pure glucose, which is the simplest form of sugar, which will actually increase your blood glucose levels. There are sugary carbohydrates, there are starchy carbohydrates. So they tend to go more for sugary carbohydrate snacks. That's going to cause a surge in their blood glucose levels and may not be ideal.
And that's why sugary beverages get such a bad rap. They're just empty calories with absolutely no nutritional value. But what about white bread, white rice, pasta, and noodles? Surely this isn't sugar. I mean, come on, look at it. It looks nothing like sugar.
Sugar, white rice, and beverages, they all spike your blood glucose very rapidly because they're broken down quickly to the common denominator, which I call glucose. So the common currency of all that you consume from a carbohydrate is glucose. And glucose is the major fuel for our body.
500 ml bottle of a sugary drink can easily contain 14 to 16 teaspoons of sugar. An average bowl of rice, 13 to 15 teaspoons of sugar. And it's not just people living with diabetes that need to know about this. In fact, it applies to us all. According to the World Health Organization, the recommended daily sugar intake should be limited to around 12 teaspoons. So it takes just one bowl of rice to bust that daily quota.
Whether or not white rice is dangerous to a person with diabetes depends on, number one, how well controlled or badly controlled the diabetes is. So if the diabetes is well controlled, then indulging in white rice may not be a problem. The key really is that white rice is digested and therefore absorbed better, faster into the body as compared to something with a higher fiber content like unpolished rice, which is broken down more gradually and therefore it doesn't cause a sugar spike.
You can substitute white rice for brown rice. And it sounds easy enough, but I do know that not everybody likes the taste of brown rice. Is it psychological? Is it a habit? Is it the texture?
Or does brown rice really taste subpar to white? To find out, I'm offering 2 different types of sushi to people on the streets.
Sushi?
These 2 sushi rolls contain the same ingredients, except that one uses brown rice and the other white rice. Which one would people prefer?
White rice version. So that was white rice. All right, try the brown. That's a brown. You went for the whole shebang. Which one is better? Number 1, number 2? Number 2.
I'll go for the white rice.
Yeah, white rice. It's more tastier.
I think the white one, because it's softer.
The red one is much better.
I like the brown rice.
I would say the white is better.
I prefer the white one. The white.
I prefer the brown rice. Not a fan of brown rice because the brown rice is good and it's healthy.
Apparently there's not much of a difference.
So the reason why people like to eat white rice is for historical reasons and cultural reasons. We associate white rice with purity and sort of luxury. But it's only now in the recent 10-15 years that people associate health with brown rice.
It's a lot higher in fiber content, and fiber is recognized as something that actually helps with diabetes control in the way that it actually helps to reduce the peak in blood glucose levels after a meal.
Coming up, learn how hawker centers and restaurants are not out of bounds for people with diabetes.
When you eat rice in this conspiration of different food, it lowers the entire glucose response of rice.
Is your food helping you or harming you? Earlier on, we showed you how carbohydrates might be overwhelming your system with too much sugar.
An average bowl of rice, 13 to 15 teaspoons of sugar.
And also revealed some painful, hard truths about the food you love so much.
Okay, honey, can you move the plate to the left? Yeah. Okay.
Looking great.
Yay, we got it. Awesome. Okay, you can have it now.
Are you going to join me?
Are you kidding? You think I'm gonna eat that? Do you know how bad that is for you? I have to stay slim for the camera. HD ain't nobody's friend, you know. Plus, I have to be careful of diabetes.
Hawker foods can actually increase the risk of diabetes if the individual is consuming more than their caloric requirement for the day. If you happen to take more than your caloric requirements, then the excess calories actually gets converted to fat and stored.
We know that these local delights are absolutely delicious, but if you are living with diabetes, it's not exactly good for you. Just how unhealthy are these foods for all of us? To find out, I am taking my loot from the hawker center straight to the lab. So look at this spread that I have here. It looks amazing, doesn't it? But today I should probably only eat one thing.
Yes,
right?
I'm afraid you have to only eat one because that's what the test is going to be. And my choice, being a popular one, I hope it's yours, is going to be chicken rice. So Nikki, bon appetit. And you have to eat everything that's there, including the soup.
And I will gladly do so. I mean, who doesn't love chicken rice, right? But this fatty and hearty plate of food is also notoriously high in carbohydrates.
Now we're going to find out.
Yes.
How does it affect my blood glucose levels?
Precisely.
.6, look what happened.
It tells you that your blood glucose response has been very modest and slow when you eat the chicken rice. And that's good news indeed.
Why is it that you were so intent on making sure I ate everything?
When you eat rice on its own, the glucose response is very high, and that's why most white rice is called high GI foods. But look at what we do when we eat chicken rice. We have it with a bowl of soup, we have a portion of meat, we have some sprigs of vegetable, and it turns out that when you eat rice in this conspiration of different food, it lowers the entire glucose response of rice. that even if you try to eat a staple like noodle, always consume it in concert with other food commodities, notably a protein or a vegetable or an egg or a chicken base, and that will lower the glucose response of most foods that we consume.
There you have it. A well-balanced meal not only gives you the nutrients your body needs, but is also very important if you want to manage your glucose response when consuming high GI foods. So if you love your food, keep in mind that what you eat with your staples is the key to how your body responds to the glucose.
So if you have diabetes and you adore your hawker fare, or even if you don't have diabetes and you just want to eat healthier, here are some tips to go out and stay healthy. Tip number 1, the 500-calorie rule.
Vegetables, 100 calories. Onions, 25 calories.
Are you done? I'm starving.
You get to just hold on a second.
Fish balls.
Aim to look for dishes at the hawker center that have less than 500 calories in them. It can be beef noodle soup, masala dosa, or yong tau fu is a really good option. Look around because there are varieties and they're equally as tasty. Tip number 2, get chummy with your soups. The soupy versions of bak chor mee or fishball mee not only contain fewer calories, but also have less oil. But you have to remember to go for the clear soup. Tip number 3, swap and substitute like a pro. Ooh, honey, could you order me some chicken rice? But please tell them instead of the white rice, I'd like the brown rice, and to substitute the chicken for the cucumber and the vegetables, please.
Sounds great. Yeah, you do it.
Whenever possible, try to substitute your white rice for brown rice. It will help you feel fuller for longer, it's high in fiber, and it will reduce the risk of diabetes. Number 4, always ask for more greens. And there you have it, more greens. Yum. Lastly, always ask for less oil, less gravy, and less sauce. With these tips, you don't have to avoid the hawker center like the plague. We all know that eating out can be convenient, delicious, and affordable. And with a little bit of planning, it can be good for your health, too. And now it's time for the last and often the best part of the meal. Drum roll, please. Desserts. It's almost like your meal isn't complete without that sweetness at the end to wrap it all up. But if you're living with diabetes, desserts can often be a stressed out affair. Now, if you read the word desserts backwards, it reads stressed. Get it? Stressed?
Desserts are not completely off limits for people with diabetes. They would need to know how to incorporate the dessert as part of their total caloric requirements for the day and total carbohydrate requirements for the day.
Ooh, this looks good. Let's see what we have here. Caramel and peanut butter, cookie butter cream cheese. Ooh, sea salt Nutella, I want this one. Ooh, cake. Thank you. What am I going to do with an entire cake? I only needed a slice. I can't possibly eat this whole thing. That's absolutely crazy. But I could spread the love around. Yes, yes. Does anybody want cake? Okay, I had ice cream on Monday, so no ice cream today. Wednesday, what's good for Wednesday? Chocolate is good for Wednesday. Great, which means no cookies on Thursday. You see, it's all about balance at the end of the day. If I know I am going to indulge in a rich chocolate cake for dessert, then I need to make room during my main meal. I'll cut the carbohydrates completely or just have a little bit. Then that way, I can go for the kill without the guilt. Now, in order to strike that perfect balance, food knowledge is so important. It is time to recognize the different faces of sugar.
If we want to know our sugar, we need to remember that it comes in many different forms.
There's dextrose, fructose, sucrose, glucose, lactose, high fructose corn syrup, malt syrup, agave nectar, honey, maltodextrin. My goodness, that is such a mouthful. The point is, you really need to start understanding these food labels, because if you're going to spend on your sugar quota, you might as well do it on a nice piece of chocolate cake rather than, say, mustard.
So what about artificial sweeteners? Well, I am glad you asked, because there is stevia, Splenda, saccharin, aspartame, lactitol, sorbitol, maltitol, mannitol. Pretty impressive, huh? But what is the deal with all these artificial sweeteners, and what role do they play in a diabetes-friendly diet?
Sugar substitutes is not a solution for people with diabetes because it's only going to be used as a replacement for pure sugar that you might be using in tea and coffee, for example.
Even if we replace sugar in our coffee and tea with sugar substitutes, we have to remember that carbohydrates and starchy foods still get digested and converted into pure glucose in our body. So moderation is key.
Just let them float around, it's fine.
Coming up.
It doesn't mean that because you have diabetes, that you have to eat diabetic food.
Earlier on, we looked at how eating out can still be healthy.
Always ask for less oil, less gravy, and less sauce.
Eat your vegetables and meat in concert with rice. It lowers the glycemic response.
So why do people even really bother making their own meals? Surely nobody has time for that.
It's healthier to cook your own meals rather than eating out because you're more in control of what you're going to put in your cooking. Eating out, sometimes it's difficult to control because they might add sugar as a flavor enhancer, so you might have hidden sugars in your meals. Food might be cooked with a lot more fat than desired. So if we're looking at diabetes management, it's not just about sugar intake, it's about total carbohydrate intake, it's about total fat intake and trying to maintain your weight within the ideal weight range as well.
We've all been there before. We get so pumped up and excited for the week ahead. We're looking forward to cooking healthily for ourselves and for our families. And then, come midweek, we're absolutely defeated and exhausted by the sheer amount of preparation and all the washing up that comes with it. So how do we get into the groove of cooking healthily? How do we make it fast, tasty, healthy, and affordable? Welcome to Nikki Can Cook, and so can you, and you, and you, and all of you. Well, I can't cook just yet, but I'm about to learn because I am meeting Charlotte, and she is a licensed nutritionist, a fabulous home cook. She's going to teach me how to make 2 dishes that are delicious, nutritious, healthy, and they're suitable for people living with diabetes. So get your notebooks out because you're going to want to make this over and over again. Come with me. I've come to you to look for nutritious dishes that are pretty easy to make at home and suitable for diabetics, and I know you can help me, right?
Absolutely. We're going to make cauliflower nasi ulam. But instead of rice today, we're going to use cauliflower. Not because rice is bad, but just an idea for a substitute.
So we'll start with the cauliflower.
Yep, our rice substitute. So we're going to process that till it resembles couscous. Okay, let's do this. Blending the paste. We've got lemongrass, garlic, ginger, turmeric, and red onion. Let's go with that first. We've got a little bit of oil.
What kind of oil are we using?
Rapeseed oil.
Because?
Neutral and has a good balance of your unsaturated fats, poly and monounsaturated fats, so that's what we like. There we go. But the color is lovely. That's where all the antioxidants are. Just gonna heat up the pan. Right, just so you smell that, all nice and toasted.
Oh, that smells so good.
Yeah.
Have your rapeseed oil there. Oh, sizzling.
I'm gonna fry it till it gets even more fragrant.
Oh, it smells so good.
Now we're adding in our tau hua pieces. This is our source of protein today, so you can use fish, chicken, whatever you like. And now in goes the cauliflower rice.
Okay, all in. Look at that.
Very nice. A dried version of fresh turmeric. Again, very high in antioxidant. And blueing powder. In goes the dried shrimp. So now onto the aromatics. We've got some lime juice, raw shallots here, buddy, for some sauce.
Please.
Now we've got brown sugar, just a tad. So that's just gonna balance out the acidity.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna go in for a little teaspoon of that.
Got the mint there, yeah?
Yeah. The butternut leaves. Kefir lime. Laksa leaf. So you can use anything and everything.
It looks beautiful. It smells beautiful.
So nasi ulam with a twist. So you can eat it on its own, or you can put it in a lettuce cup, serve it that way. She loves it.
So you can actually keep this overnight. Let's say you make too much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fridge is fine. We are making stuffed peppers. What do we have
So
as
we're gonna
ingredients?
stuff it with some lean chicken mince, mushrooms, and lentils. First of all, we had to cut off the tops of peppers, and we're gonna parboil it in some hot water.
How many minutes or so?
About 5. Now we're gonna make the rest of the filling.
Onions. Oh.
In goes the lean chicken mince. Okay.
I can season for you. Chili.
Chili flakes.
There we are.
You know how with the red peppers we chopped off the tops? I don't like to waste food. I just dice it up and we're just gonna add it in. Go in with the mushrooms.
All right.
Today we use canned lentils. If you buy lentils outside, read the ingredients label. Okay, you don't want lentils which are full of salt. Best ones are those that are in water. And in with the passata.
In it goes. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's hard to handle. And as you realize, we did not use any salt in this dish.
That is true.
0. So you gotta be creative in the kitchen. Come up with substitutes. Don't just use salt for saltiness, you know? So we're using cheese today. It doesn't mean that because you have diabetes that you have to eat diabetic food. There's no such thing. It's just about altering your ingredients and just knowing what to cut down and what to have more of.
And you're also not saying goodbye to your favorite foods. You like rice, have rice.
Yeah.
Just, it's our portions that are our problems, right?
Portions, balance, all of that is key. Now we're gonna put it into the oven, 180 degrees, about 15 to 20 minutes.
Well, that was fun. That was yummy and a lot easier than I thought. If I can do it, you can do it. Sometimes the hardest thing about living with diabetes is gauging what you should and shouldn't eat. It is so important to understand what's in your food and how your particular body reacts to your favorite dishes. Substitutions do not have to be boring or bland. You can find unique ways to jazz up your meal just by doing the research and cooking at home. Couple that with fun and consistent physical activity, and you're going to be well on your way to a healthier and better version of yourself.